The moment you doubt yourself, fear takes control, and fear stops action. It creeps quietly into the corners of the mind, whispering reasons to delay, to hesitate, to wait for the perfect time. But success does not wait for those who hesitate. Success blooms where faith is stronger than fear. Every soul faces this inner conflict, the silent battle between trust and doubt, between courage and hesitation. It is not a war fought in the outer world, but within the heart. In the still moments when the dream is clear but the outcome uncertain, that's where the true test begins. The heart says, go. The mind says, wait. And in that pause, destinies are decided. Once, two seeds lay side by side in the same soil. One said, I will grow. I will reach for the light. I will trust the rain and the sun. And so, it broke through the earth, small and fragile, but alive. The other seed hesitated. What if my roots go too deep? What if I'm crushed by the weight of the soil? What if the storm destroys me? So it remained where it was, safe, untouched, unseen. Weeks passed, and the first seed became a green shoot, touched by wind and warmed by sunlight. The second stayed buried in the dark, trapped not by the earth but by its own fear. Every human being is one of those seeds. Growth demands faith. Fear promises safety but delivers stagnation. Those who trust in life rise through the soil of uncertainty and reach toward the light of purpose. Those who wait for certainty remain where they are, comfortable, yet unfulfilled. Doubt is not an enemy. It is a signal. It appears at the edge of transformation. It warns us, but it also invites us to grow. The problem begins when doubt becomes our master instead of our messenger. When we let it rule our decisions, it locks us in hesitation. Fear stops movement, and without movement, even the most beautiful vision fades into fantasy. Belief, on the other hand, is a living force. It is not a thought, but an energy, a vibration that the universe recognizes and responds to. Every act of faith sends out a frequency that says, I am ready. And when the universe hears readiness, it rearranges itself in unseen ways to meet that vibration. All great transformations begin this way. The pioneers of the world, the inventors, the artists, the dreamers, they were not free of fear. They were simply faithful enough to act in spite of it. The Wright brothers had no guarantee that their fragile wings would carry them. Marie Curie faced ridicule long before recognition. Gandhi stood for peace in a world at war. These people didn't wait for the perfect moment. They created it through belief. And so it is for everyone. The entrepreneur who risks everything to build a dream, the person who begins healing after heartbreak, the soul who chooses hope after failure. Each act of courage becomes a declaration of faith. And faith always attracts the energy of support. The outer world is only a mirror of the inner one. When we live in doubt, life reflects delay and resistance. When we live in faith, life flows. Opportunities arise. The right people cross our path. Synchronicities appear like small miracles, reminding us that what we believe internally shapes what we experience externally. The universe does not punish or reward. It simply responds. Awareness is what transforms this understanding into power. To live consciously is to notice when fear speaks and to recognize that it is not truth. It is habit. It's the echo of past wounds and untested limits. Awareness allows us to say, I see you, fear, but I will not stop. With that one act of awareness, the energy shifts. Power returns to the soul. There always comes a moment, small, quiet, sacred, when a decision must be made. To go or to stay, to speak or to remain silent, to try or to retreat. That moment is the hinge upon which destiny turns, and when a person chooses faith, even in a whisper, life begins to move. The universe, though vast and unfathomable, is alive and aware. It listens not to words, but to vibration. it understands belief. When a person acts with trust and alignment, they send a pulse through creation itself. The universe, like a mirror of infinite intelligence, reflects it back, through signs, encounters, and opportunities that seem too perfect to be coincidence. Faith says, "I will take one step," and the universe replies, "I will light the path." Fear tries to keep control. It promises safety through hesitation. It convinces us that by waiting, by analyzing every risk, we are being wise. But life was never meant to be controlled. It was meant to be experienced, co-created, danced with. True wisdom lies not in certainty, but in surrender. To surrender does not mean to give up. It means to trust that the same force that makes the stars shine and the oceans move also guides our path. When we release the need to control every outcome, we create space for miracles. Faith ripples outward. It does not only change the believer, it changes the world around them. A person who walks with quiet confidence becomes a living reminder that courage is contagious. A parent who chooses faith teaches their child resilience. A leader who acts with integrity uplifts entire communities. Every act of faith, no matter how small, becomes a beacon for others still trapped in doubt. Everything in existence vibrates with energy. Fear contracts it. Faith expands it. When we dwell in fear, we close ourselves off from possibility. When we dwell in faith, we open ourselves to the infinite. Even science acknowledges that the observer shapes the observed, that our focus and intention influence reality. Faith is the highest form of focus. It aligns the inner and outer worlds. There are seasons in every soul's journey, times of expansion and times of retreat. Winter may bring silence, and storms may cloud the path. But faith knows that beneath the frozen ground, life still stirs. Growth is happening, even when unseen. The one who trusts the process understands that nothing is wasted, nothing is random, and nothing is truly against them. Every challenge refines strength. Every delay deepens readiness. Hesitation, however, steals more dreams than failure ever could. It disguises itself as caution, but quietly robs the soul of its momentum. The world does not reward hesitation. It rewards movement. Even a flawed step forward creates more growth than endless waiting. Faith is not a fleeting feeling. It is a way of life. It's the daily decision to rise with trust, to move through uncertainty with grace, to believe in one's own ability to adapt, learn, and create. It is the quiet voice within that says, "I may not know what comes next, but I know I will meet it with strength." Faith is not about ignoring fear, but about seeing beyond it. It is the remembrance of connection, the knowing that the same intelligence that spins galaxies also beats within our own hearts. To live with faith is to walk in harmony with that intelligence, to trust that the current of life carries us where we are meant to go. Every spiritual tradition teaches this same truth in different words. Belief shapes reality. Energy follows intention. The universe mirrors vibration. Whether one calls it karma, alignment, or resonance, the principle remains unchanged. What we believe, we become. The moment a person believes in their worth, the world begins to reflect that worth. The moment they doubt, the reflection dims. The universe is neutral but responsive. It gives not what we want, but what we are aligned with. Faith, then, is the ultimate alignment. It is the soul's way of saying, "I am one with life itself." It is not a request for ease, but an invitation to experience purpose. It is what turns obstacles into teachers and endings into beginnings. The moment you doubt yourself, fear takes control, and fear stops action. But the moment you trust yourself, life begins to flow again. Success is not the absence of fear. It is the triumph of faith over it. Trust your abilities. Act with confidence. Speak your truth. Follow your intuition. Believe that you are guided. The universe has always been your silent partner, waiting not for your perfection, but for your participation. So the next time fear whispers, "What if it doesn't work?" let your soul answer, "What if it does?" Take the step, say the word, begin the journey. For when you move in faith, you are never moving alone. The entire universe moves with you, conspiring in your favor, lighting the path you were born to walk. Because in the end, faith was never about believing in something outside of you. It was about remembering the divine strength that has always lived within.